Welcome. This is Liberation of the People. And if you are perfectly satisfied with your life, if you have everything you want, if you've achieved everything you've done, if you have everything that you would like to have attained to, then this is not the show for you, okay? We're addressing people who are not satisfied. Those of you who, for some reason or another, you cannot attain to what you want, even though you try vigorously every day. You cannot achieve what you're after. You cannot attain to what you need for yourself and your family or for your friends. If this is your situation, we have some very interesting information for you, and we will be very clear with what we have. We will be as clear as this is profound. The bulwark of our discussion tonight is founded in this book, Liberation of the People, by Dr. Norberto Kepi. And the author of this book, he's the author of 14 other books. He's a psychoanalyst and a social scientist who presents in this book the astonishing discoveries of his 30 years of research. He's the founder of the largest clinic in Latin America, that's of psychosomatic medicine. He's an extraordinary person. I know him personally. And the cover of this book reads as the following. This is the first study of the psychosocial pathology of people with power, psychotics who are impeding human development and destroying society. If we don't stop them immediately, we will witness the rapid demise of civilization. The content of this book is extraordinary. It's absolutely accurate. It's very serious. It's for contemporary times. And I refer it to you. If you'd like a copy of it, just phone us. We'll send you one. The topic of tonight is free enterprise in action. That is to say, can you work for yourself? And if so, is there a way of doing it without the present situation of being, how should I put it, employer-employee relationship? I'll let our guest explain this, okay? We have with us Nancy Cruz and Doris Nielsen. So, first of all, I would like to ask, we're going to be speaking about enterprise and our economic situation today, but I would like to ask, in the United States today, what liberty we have left, where does it come from? If the liberty that we do have here in this country, where would you say, who is holding this liberty for us? Well, we're busy every day in our everyday lives, not exactly knowing who is making the decisions in the realm of authority. Where does our liberty come from?
Well, first, Gilbert, our liberty comes from our Constitution. The Constitution that gives you the freedom of choices. And my main theme always is, as you mentioned, the exploiters and the people that are in power and that are in control. Look at the employee. They are the most exploited people in this country today who are unemployed. The employee suffers every day. He works on a job that's not paying him enough, that he's not happy with, that he's overworked, or he's under the thumbs of a crazy supervisor and an even crazier boss that exploits him every day. So the employee, in my estimation, is not free. He's the only one in our society that is not free. And the only way he or she can free themselves is to really look at their lives, evaluate their job. Is their job doing all it can for themselves and their family? Is it supporting the family? Is he gaining happiness? Has he or she gone as far as they can on that job? Is he at the top of the scale of his salary? And if it's yes to these questions, then it's time to reevaluate and take another look at his life.
I especially wanted to make a comment about middle managers in corporations. What I'm finding is that they are experiencing a very sad situation. They have accumulated a tremendous amount of skills and expertise on their jobs. And now management in corporations treat them like secondary. They take all of their skills and they take all of their expertise, they use them. They treat them very unfairly. They treat them like they really don't have any value, even though they've been with the corporation 20, 30, 40 years. And these people, since we're discussing enterprises today, especially this group of people that I have discussions with, I meet with them, it would be wonderful if they can take those skills, put them together, and form their own jobs. They could work for themselves. They have the ability.
They have to first, Nancy, start thinking and re-evaluating their life, number one, their job, and what has the most effect on their day. And it's their job. This is where they spend the largest amount of time. This is what their life is built around, the company they work for. And once they look and realize how exploited they are, they have to realize they must do something about it, because the continuation only hurts society, it hurts themselves, and it brings more frustrations. And as Gilbert brought out, the psychosomatic illnesses that Dr. Cappy writes so much about, he treats so often, these are the kind of illnesses that come from the job. They really do. They come from the job that has the person so ill emotionally and mentally. So he has to leave that job. And this is what we're talking about tonight, how you can achieve this by starting your own company, your own business. I am at present in business for myself. I have a designing company.
Many highly skilled people working for others. Okay?
Oh, yes.
They're making money for another guy who's not working at all. Usually the owners of these large corporations and multinationals, they have no capacity for work. All they know how to do is exploit people. And they develop mental illnesses as they try to control people. They have what we call pathology for power. They're very sick individuals. They keep themselves out of public view, you notice. We hear their names once in a while, read about, we have an idea, we know families who make $5 billion a year and, $30,000 an hour, day and night, and yet they do nothing. They exploit other people. Well, what about these people who have value, who know how to work, who have skills, and yet they're making money for other people, not for themselves? They get thrown a very small amount of money at the end of the week compared to what they're actually earning for a corporation. I think that as Americans we're deceived in thinking that it's these large corporations who constitute our liberty. It's not an accurate perception. It's actually the foundations of our Constitution of the United States that affords us the liberty that we have. It's in our political structure that we have some liberty left, not in the economic realm. The economic realm goes absolutely contrary to the ideals of the Constitution of the United States. Let me quote something from Liberation of the People by Dr. Norberto Kepi. He says, "The Statue of Liberty is the symbol of freedom not only for the people of the United States, but for the entire world, a symbol of the freedom of all peoples. And yet, it is a fact that today this magnificent figure is becoming commercialized, illustrating clearly what has happened to the freedom of the human being, freedom which is gradually being destroyed by those who hold social and economic power, people invested with enough power to enslave their fellow men, all in the name of freedom. Even more significant is the fact that the political system is also being pressured by this same power." So we see there's a parallel power that has grown up in our nation in contemporary times, something parallel to the political power. Our political structure is such that it keeps the power, much of the power, in the hands of the people. In fact, I'm just thinking this is a way in which we could see whether or not our politicians are really acting in according to the Constitution. If the power is invested in the people, if it remains invested in the people, then we know our politicians are doing their work. Then we know that they are righteous men who are upholding the Constitution of the United States. If the power is going somewhere else, then these men are being pressured in a different direction. And it's those people who own multinational and large corporations, whom we call the economically powerful people, who are doing this, who are pressuring our politicians to go against the Constitution of the United States, because they don't want liberty for the people. They want to take everything for themselves. Monetarily, they want to control everything, and they are sick individuals. They do not have our purposes in mind. They do not have our welfare in mind. Only for themselves, they think. And at first the other country goes, oh, fantastic, Americans are coming here, they're going to make a big corporation here, wow, we're going to prosper. And in a few years they see that something very ugly is taking place, that they're just exploiting these people because they're cheap labor, and they begin to show disdain for them. And what do? These multinationals? They take their machines, they pack up, they go to another country, they exploit somebody else. People are despising Americans because of these crazy people. They don't represent America. They don't represent us. They don't represent we the people. They don't represent our ideals. Nothing. They're lunatics. They're vultures who are trying to live in an eagle's nest.
Very peacefully, by working. You start your own business. You change hands of the power. We have that kind of freedom. We're free enough to do this. So I want everyone to really search themselves and their job and really ask yourself, am I doing all I can with what I have in this one life that you know of? So you have the freedom to think about it.
And we are very pragmatically, very practically enterprising, whereby all of the people in an enterprise are co-owners. Everyone is equally responsible for the profits that they make for themselves, both collectively and individually. And it's a very interesting setup. It's based on, there is capital, although you need not start it with capital. If you have capital, you can begin. All of the people in the enterprise give equal capital, so that the enterprise is equally everybody's. But the income that comes into you is based on your productivity. That is, if you work, say, 8 measures of productivity, then you get that much profit. If you're somebody who works very well and you work, say, 20 measures or 20 units of productivity, you make that much profit in return. So that you get in profit what you work for. And you're not making someone else wealthy. You're not a slave. You're not an employee. You're a co-owner of your own enterprise.
I work to the fullest of my capacity, and I earn what I put out. If my desires are to reach that million goal, well, go for it, because I'm free to do that. There's no one exploiting me. My profits are my own.
And open your own enterprise. If you're a little bit hesitant or reluctant, you can check us out, see how it works, see that it does work, first of all, and open your own place. You'll find many more benefits in it than you would ever believe.
Also, I was thinking, one of the nice things that I like about the Trilogical Enterprises is that there are many books that you can get, whether it be in a library or in publishing houses, how to start a business, what to do, and I've been reading them, and I know the Trilogical Enterprises, how they work, how they operate. I see the people, and it's very cold when you read it in a book. It's very impersonal, and it's scary because they tell you step by step how to do things, but you don't have anybody human there.
The realm of economics and financing is not difficult to understand, contrary to what we may think, because our present economic situation, the reason it is so complicated that nobody could explain it is that it's entirely deceitful. It's complicated because the economically powerful people don't want us to perceive what they're doing. So they make everything as complicated as possible so that we can't see what's going on. But actually, in reality, economics is not a difficult subject to understand, and neither is financing. It's the multitude of restrictions that are placed on us when we try to open our own business that gets complicated. This is also done by the economically powerful people. They want to control us. They don't want us to work for ourselves. They don't want us this freedom.
You know, the interesting thing also, Gilbert, is to those people who've been working on their job 5 years, 10 years, you are a business. You know what you're doing so well, you can teach it. Take, for example, a bookkeeper. If you've been a bookkeeper at a company for 20 years, you're a company yourself. You are a bookkeeping service within yourself. You can teach other people. You can form your own corporation, and you can do the bookkeeping for a lot of other companies. You are a company. If you've been a key punch operator or whatever your job is, you are a business, because you know that skill so well. You can earn that money for yourself.